Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly scenario in Noctie. And this week we are dealing with this position. And this is a real classic. This is a position from the Immortal Game played between Adolf Anderssen and Lionel Kieseritzky 1851 in London. And I say it is an immortal one. What do I mean with that? Simply that the finish of this game is regarded as the most beautiful finish ever on a chessboard, and judge for yourself. I will show you very soon, but first let's take a look at the position. We can see that white is heavily in the lead when it comes to development, and you can see that the black king has not castled, and you can feel that it's close to getting a real dangerous checkmate. But black is ahead when it comes to material, and not the least in this position the bishop is threatening on g1 and the queen on a1. So white really needs to have a strong attack here to compensate for that and find a way to deliver checkmate, or at least win back material when it's threatening to give checkmate. In the game, Adolf Anderssen played a lovely move, bishop to d6. And now he's sacrificing both of his rooks, and this is actually also what has happened. What happened was bishop to take on g1 in this position, and now a very cool little move, e5. A lovely little move, because what you do now is that you close the long diagonal, so suddenly the knight is ready to take on g7. And in the game, queen take a1 and king e2, and now you can see white is threatening to take on g7 check, and then bishop to c7 checkmate. But black had a plan. He played knight to a6, and after take on g7, king d8, there is no checkmate on c7 with the bishop, because the knight on a6 here is ready to support. But there is another move, the marvelous move, queen to f6, and after knight take, bishop e7 checkmate, and we have sacrificed both of the rooks and the queen and winning an immortal game. The problem is, of course, that after this, grandmasters and other masters have analyzed this move, this game, and of course now with the computers as well, and have found out that actually black could save the game after bishop to d6 with playing a little bit better by taking on a1 check. And now after king e2, instead of taking on g1, black should play a queen to b2. And the idea is that now you are actually supporting the g7 pawn, but also threatening to take on c2. And now e5, then you take on c2 check, and then it's not the same as in the game. So now after take on c5, take on c2, king f1, take on c5 like this, white has got only one move to keep the balance, and that is queen f4. And still it looks very dangerous for black, but the very strange computer move, I would say, knight e7 will actually save the day, because now white needs to play take on d6, king d8, take on f7, king e8, check and back, and white has to go for a perpetual with a draw. Instead, the masters have found out that instead of bishop d6 in this position, the best move is actually rook to e1. Here there are different possibilities, but for example, knight to a6, then what white can do is now you can continue with bishop d6, and after take on g1, e5, you have more or less the same, and white is winning with the same trick as before. So the question is, what will happen if I play with Noctie? Because you should know there are better defenses, so complicated position. So I'm a little bit nervous, because I might do something bad here and not able to win, even if I will play the rook e1 move. So let's take a look what's happening when I play with Noctie. So let's try out what Noctie will do in this position, not the least if I play rook to e1. Knight c6, all right, then I go for the rook, I give a check, king d8, I take the rook, and now the question is, okay, bishop to b7, threatening to take my knight on a8. I go back with the knight, of course. And now, okay, so now comes g6. And I think I will play this move actually, knight to d6. The idea now is that if the kings take here, I give a check on c4. It's a check, and I threaten to take the queen on b2, and now knight to e5, threatening my queen. But after I take the queen on b2, then the knight cannot take my queen because it's a check on the king. So that's why I played like I did. Okay, so now still not threatening my queen, so I play rook to g2. Okay, bishop to. Now you can see that now my queen is threatened, so I move it away. Queen e3. Okay, knight to e7. I think I go for a push here, d4. I really would like to swap this bishop on f4 for the okay, that was an interesting move. I take the piece on e5 like this. Okay, so what is the position right now? I have like I mean I'm so much more pieces than my opponent, so this is a very easily winning position for me. I play c3 so that the knight cannot go to d4. Okay, so I go for rook to f2, I think, like this, just to put the rook a little bit better. Knight goes there. Okay, threatening to play here, I go for bishop g5. I want to swap off pieces, of course, because if I do, I will have better chances to win the game. I swap off. If I can, I will, and then bring in the knight. It's time for that one to come into the play as well. Okay, the knight comes in, and now I go for knight c5, threatening the rook, threatening the bishop. Look at this, I take the bishop. Okay, I go back with the knight like this to c5. Okay, well, okay, I take this one. I give it check on f7 like this. The end is very near. Okay, swapping off this one as well. Now it is not very difficult for me to win this position. I have a rook and a queen more, so yeah, very strange play, I think. Okay, let's go for the pawn on d6, activating my rook like this. Okay, I grab the pawn like this. Okay, I take, and you can see now, you know, I have a queen and a rook against the king. It is mate in about 3 moves from here. Okay, I give a check on g7. And I play rook f6. In the next move, I will play rook f8, checkmate. So, rook f8, checkmate. Well, as you could see, well, Noctie didn't have much of a chance if you just play correctly in the position after rook e1.